Good morning. A couple of years back, I rang my mum for some advice and had quite a long chat with her and listened to what she had to say and thought about it and went away and decided to do what she'd said. About an hour later, she rang me back and she said, Clive, why did you ring me up? Why did you ask for my advice? And I remember laughing. I was 50, bear in mind, at the time, and said, well, Mum, you've given me advice all my life, and frankly, I haven't always listened. And looking back, I realised that majority of the time you were right. So I finally cracked it, and when I've got some questions, I'm going to ring you up and ask you and actually listen for a change. We both chuckled at that because sometimes we can all be a bit stiff-necked, can't we, when people offer us a wise opinion, because it's so easy to think that we know better and we're driven by our own sort of instincts and our own needs and our own wants. So advice is a great thing to get, but we have to be open to listening to the wisdom in that advice. I'm not saying we have to do what people tell us. I just think it was interesting for me to discover that Mum actually knew what she was talking about. And today our reading is from Jeremiah, and I have to say I feel quite sorry for the prophets. Perhaps the prophets are a bit like Mum sometimes. It says in our reading today, God speaking to Jeremiah, from the day that your ancestors came out of the land of Egypt until this day, I have persistently sent all my servants, the prophets, to them day after day, and yet they did not listen to me or pay attention, but they stiffen their necks. And perhaps things haven't changed. The prophets all seem to have had quite a tough time of it. Amos did seem to get things to change, which was amazing. But all the prophets are sent by God. They go, in many cases, unwillingly. They say the unpalatable. And I think it's interesting for us today to think of our Christian faith as being prophetic sometimes. The problem is, of course, do we read the Bible right? Do we really understand what is being said to us through the Bible? Do we listen to false prophets? Do we know that we actually got a right handle on things? We'll work it out, won't we? But in the end, we eventually work out where the wisdom is. And I guess I'm praying that through Lent, we'll work out where the wisdom is for our lives, our communities, our faith going forward. God bless.